King Nebuchadnezzar had died, and his son Belshazzar was now the king of Babylon. King Belshazzar threw a massive party and ordered that they use all of the gold and silver goblets that his dad had stolen from God's temple in Jerusalem. He invited lots of guests, and they all drank from these cups and worshipped other gods of gold, silver, and bronze while they did it. All of a sudden, fingers of a human hand appeared and wrote on the wall in a language that no one could understand. The king was terrified. He summoned his magicians and wise men and promised a great reward to anyone who could solve the riddle of what the words meant. The reward would be fancy clothes and a job as the third most important man in the kingdom. But none of the king's wise men knew what the words meant. The king got even more scared. Until the queen came in and said, "Don't be alarmed. There is a man who can help. He helped your father with his dreams, and he will tell you what it means." Of course, she was talking about Daniel. So Daniel was called to the king, and the king told him that if he could solve the riddle of what the words meant, then the king would reward him. Daniel told the king that he could keep his rewards. He didn't want them, but he would still help. Daniel said, "Your father was a good king. The one true God gave him power and greatness. And when King Nebuchadnezzar became arrogant and full of pride, God took away his greatness and he went mad, until he recognized that it is God who is more powerful and most great over all other kingdoms and all other kings. But you are just like your father was before he was humbled. You know everything that happened to him, but you have still set yourself up against the God of heaven. You took the goblets that belonged to him. You praised other gods which cannot hear or speak or act, but you didn't honor the God who holds your life in his hands. So he has sent a message to you. Mene, Mene, Tekel, Parsin. It means God has counted the days until your kingdom will end. You have been weighed on the scales and found not good enough. Your kingdom is being divided and will be given to the Medes and the Persians. Because Daniel had solved the riddle, King Belshazzar did reward him and made him the third most important man in the kingdom, but that didn't help him. That very night, the king was killed and a new king took his place on the throne.